Greetings from McBride Films. I'm Steve McBride. I thank you all for tuning in to this episode of McBrides Moving On Up. It's the first episode of the season on the black side. I hope you guys will tune in and listen to the black side from my perspective. Anybody and everybody have different perspective on how they see things, and this is how I've seen things or how I observe things. One of the things we're going to talk about on this episode real quick is the recent trial in Dallas. And what I want to invite everybody to do, whether you're a police officer or whatever profession you're in, is to, for the next month, observe your co-workers, how they interact with black people. Not you. So I'm quite sure we all do things and operate in a professional manner how we do things. But just observe some of your coworkers and see if they behave differently when they're in contact with black people. Not just your white coworkers, but your black coworkers. Observe how they deal with black folk as well. Last year, a year and a half ago, spent a lot of time in the hospital ICU waiting room. And I was able to observe some things that I saw how some of the doctors dealt with black people and the difference in how they dealt with people of other races. And this was black doctors, white doctors, Indian doctors. They seem to be more aggressive and more dismissive when dealing with black people. And if you will observe that in your work area or where you work at, and just see what your conclusion is. And I don't know why it's that way. Maybe you might see it differently, but that's how I observe it through my eyes. So right now at this point, I just want you to observe that that does happen, and maybe later on we can discuss the reasons why. And you'll see a lot of times in McBride Moving Up, we'll state the facts, and then we'll give our opinion as to why. But there's one thing that won't be able to be refuted, is the facts. If the numbers are there, then they're there. We can debate all day long about why something is a certain way, but if the pure numbers are there, they're there. And I invite anybody to go and do the research. We just don't make blank statements on our McBride Films. We'll give you our opinion, but we also state the facts, at least what the numbers show, the pure numbers. So stay tuned. Okay. What told you to mess with that?
I'm saying where everybody can see now.
Yeah, but it ain't getting all of me. The star of the show.
It's getting all of you, alright?
Okay. Alright. Today's episode of McBrides Moving Up this season is about the black side. We talked about Ain't That America? That's Texas. Now I want to talk about the black side. And anytime you talk about the black side, I know there's going to be controversy. And you might find yourself on another side. Then you do your show. This is McBrides Moving Up. And the experiences are the things that I've experienced and how I've dealt with them. And I've had to deal with them all from my perspective of who I am. An American, Texan, and if you want to break it down, a country New Waverlyan, which I'm very proud of that, rather proud of it. But there's also a black side. You know, with my experiences from the black side. And this is not to stereotype or to box anybody else that's black and say that they had the same experiences I had. Or they may have had them, but they didn't experience them in the same way. You know, maybe I was taught differently, or maybe I was so American or so Texan that I dealt with it differently. So you understand that a black man from New York is not going to see the same things in the same way as a black man from New Waverly. And we might deal with them differently. So I want to talk briefly about the case that just ended with the young man being killed in his own apartment by a police officer. You know, young black man unarmed in his own house. If he had been armed in his own house, that shouldn't have been a problem. So that was killed by a police officer. And I have some mixed feelings about it because I am black and I am also blue, you know, police. But at the end of the day, I was born black, not blue. At the end of the day, I was born black. I was born American. And I was born in Texas. But had I been born anywhere else in the world, I would have been black. So that would not change. Could not change. So here's my perspective. It's terrible. Jury made a decision. They heard the case, and they made a decision. Judge handed down a sentence. We can spend all day arguing the counterpoints and how much time should have been given, if any, it was a mistake. But there was a trial. There was a decision. And there was a sentence. And the family forgave, hoping that this person would find Christ.